I've always made the comment that once a miller, always a miller.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! Good heavens, he's done it again! Another promotion for the big man.
I've got 12 bottles of champagne in my office and we're going to drink them all night.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Happy Halloween. Yay. But FA Cup first round weekend, which is the exciting part. We're going to preview the first round of the FA Cup returning. Our first appearance since 2021 in this area, time of the competition. And we'll pick up anything else we can pick up rather than that. Because I'll be honest, I think we're only going to get an hour out of preview in Cheltenham. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Tom's back. How are you going, Tom?
Yeah, all good. All good. More than happy to be back. We've got so much to talk about.
Exactly. So much to cover. Mick, happy Halloween.
Yeah, happy Halloween. I thought I'd go full Halloween with my lighting tonight. I'm getting into the spirit of it. Or what it actually could be is that because if I turn my light off, nobody will think I'm in.
Yeah.
Nobody will go.
Mick's gone full old man.
When it is.
Yeah, fair enough. Martin Holland's with us, as is Steve Grundy, Kelly Pub, Showstone, Darren Cook, Fisherman Sid, and Sean Oxborough. Paul Road says, has Mick been out trick-or-treating? No,
I have. I've just not taken my mask off yet.
And Richard's with us. Good evening, all. Spooktacular show tonight. Thank you for being with us, Richard. Thank you all for being with us tonight. We will see what we can do and cover and talk about over the next hour or so. The first thing to cover is we'll take you back in time very briefly. 43 years to the day since Rotherham United beat Chelsea 6-0. Now, only one of us is old enough to remember that. Sadly for you, Mick. But take us back to October, whenever it was, 43 years ago today, 31st of October. Talk to me about it. 6-0. We 4-1 at their place the same year, so 10-1 on aggregate in that season as well. So, Rotherham were flying high back in 82, is it? 82, 83?
81. I was 16. 81. 43 years ago today. Did you not do maths at school?
I did, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, need to perhaps go back.
Maybe,
that was some day. Was someday, weren't it? Well, you won't remember, obviously. The people, obviously, in comments who were there will remember it. It was, I mean, walking out of Millmore after that, you're like in a bit of shock, really. All the, the big boys, Chelsea, who weren't as big then as they are now, clearly, but they were a big, they were still a massive, massive club. And they got absolutely battered. I think Mike's got it in the comments there where Rod Fern got a hat-trick. Ronnie could have had a hat-trick, but only ended up with 2. But Breck's absolute screamer to open scoring was something to behold. It was one of the worst bits of goalkeeping in the history of goalkeeping, I think. But yeah, it was a great day, and Ray Mountford saving the penalty twice. Absolute awesome day, and will live long in the memory. One of the great days at Millmore, really was.
Yeah, having watched the goals back, it looks like one of the worst performances by a goalkeeper.
Yeah, he didn't have a great day,
but you need that sometimes. But yeah, poor keeper. Paula Rose says she was there. She was 18. Richard was there. He was 19. Actually, Matt Miller was there as well. Steve Gundy says, "What a day! I was in dreamland." Chris Wright and Fisherman Sid were both there at Stamford Bridge for the 4-1. How big a club were Chelsea at the time? Because when I grew up, they were in the Premier League and they were still one of the bigger clubs in the Premier League. How big were they in the early 80s?
Yeah, they were still a big club. They weren't sort of Man United big, but they were still I mean, obviously they were in what is now the Championship at that point, but they were still a sort of an established First Division club as it was then, Premier League club then, So they came down into that league, and it weren't exactly expected that they would be down there. Man United dropped down there a couple of seats at some stage through that period as well. So it wasn't like it was now, where the top six are just a million miles apart from everybody else. But they were still a big club, So yeah, it's coming down to Millmore, not New York, obviously. It's coming down to Millmore, thinking the big guns, filled out the railway end and went home with the tails between the legs. And then, when I went down there, basically did the same to them again, which was special, very, very special, and not something you expect from a Rotherham United team in Championship nowadays.
So, what an away win!
Well, an away win, but even to beat a bigger club. A club of that stature coming down from the Premier League, like Newcastle when they came down, and that sort of thing. They come to your place. Leeds is another example. I mean, Leeds were the big club at that point in Division 1, as well as Man U, and you don't expect to have such a convincing victory against a side like that. Not little old Rotherham. So beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yes, very much so. We can only hope for days like that, me and Tom.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, to come.
Yeah.
I hope it works out for you. It's all right. You're saying that. Yeah, I mean, and in all seriousness, you say that, but those days were few and far between. And far between. If you take that 81-82 season out of it, or 80-81-82 seasons out of it, you have presided over probably one of the most successful periods of Rotherham United since they moved back to New York Stadium. Consistently successful, if you like.
Yeah.
Albeit we've had some big downs as well. So yeah, it depends what you want out of life, doesn't it? We beat Chelsea 6-1. We beat Arsenal 3-1 in the FA Cup round about that same period as well. But we also had some absolutely dreadful times as well. The highs were few and far between. The lows were long and tedious.
It shone very brightly for a brief time, I suppose, in fact 2 years.
Yeah, it's the old Blade Runner quote, isn't it? The old Blade Runner quote, the light that shines twice as bright burns for half as long, or whatever.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd ever say that on here. Flipping heck.
Yeah. So yeah, congratulations to anybody that was there those days. Richmond Sid says, wasn't the Chelsea goalkeeper supposed to be drunk from the night before? It certainly looked like it from watching the goals.
Yeah.
That absolutely wouldn't surprise me. Matt Miller saying that those days Chelsea had some horrible thuggish reputation on them that day.
He did. And down at Stamford Bridge was a very, very, very different place to what it is now. I'm not sure whether they had a ground track or not there, but it looked like they got a ground track around the edge of it. And they used to have the you will definitely remember this. There were disabled cars. There were like a pale turquoise single-seater car, and they used to park them around the edge of the pitch. Instead of having a disabled section like you've got now, and they used to park on that edge of pitch.
Okay,
there you go.
Fair enough.
That's something I remember from Stamford Bridge.
Fair enough. Odd. Very odd.
That's of any interest to anybody, but there you go.
Well, somebody might find it interesting.
Yeah.
Bex Fishman says he thinks it was the best team Rotherham have ever had. Finished 7th, am I right in saying?
Yeah, I think
seventh, around 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
Paul Rose saying we have had some absolute stinkers. We've had some terrible years. Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, let's move forward to present day. FA Cup first round weekend. Why I like the FA Cup first round weekend. It's not very exciting rather against Cheltenham, to be honest with you, but you tend to get some big upsets. Some little teams, some really, really, really little teams against some decent sized teams at this round as well. It's not necessarily League One against Premier League, but it's exciting. Tom, are you on that vibe? You still Magic of the FA Cup kind of guy, or not? Where are you sitting on this very old?
Can you ask Mick first, and then I'll corroborate? No, I understand. It's just another game, I guess, but it's What I like about cup games in general is that it gives a chance to see players that you wouldn't usually see. And that's the interesting part for me, is getting to see how certain players will adapt to the atmosphere and perform. You know, it might get a chance to see this Douglas play against some actual adults. It gives Holmes a chance to stake his claim for like a starting 11. And it's just a shame that McGuckin can't play. I mean, it just breeds more into the point of why did we bring him back? Because he can't play this game, and then Clark Harris is supposedly back for Barnsley. So I don't know. Anyway, I mean, later on in the competition, you'd probably get a bit more interested. I mean, I remember games of going to Everton, watching us during COVID play Everton, and then going to Goodison Park. I'm trying to think of any others that I've truly been to and liked. I mean, City, but I don't think that was the FA Cup, was it?
That was the FA Cup, yeah, but that was 7-0.
Yeah, I mean, when you get into further rounds, it's always, you know, you can always get an interesting draw. I think the first round is sort of an experimental round for systems, players. I'll be interested to see how certain players play, and if they play with a mindset of getting into that starting 11. But other than that, I mean, I'll be completely frank and just say that it doesn't quite hit me the first round. But it might do in years to come. But as of now, it's not quite hit me yet. But you know, nevertheless, I'm excited for it as I would do any league game. So there's no wavering excitement levels.
Fair enough. My first memory of the FA Cup was the first round with when we played Burnley. Again, this is before your time, Tom. It's when replays. Replays not a thing this year. We should start that. There's no replays this year, so it's straight to penalties. I think extra time penalties. But anyway, my first memory of the FA Cup, and the reason probably the reason why I love it, we played Burnley. We were Division 3. Burnley were Division 2. They came to Millmore. We drew 3-3, and what was a brilliant game. And then in the replay, it was Rotherham's first time ever live on Sky. And we went and beat Burnley, a decent Burnley team, beat them 3-0, with still one of the best goals Rotherham have ever scored on telly. Not the best from Trevor Berry as well. So I love the FA Cup. That's one of my first proper memories of the FA Cup, and first really, really good memory of Rotherham United. I feel like the magic's lost on you a little bit, Mick. I might be wrong, but I feel like the magic of the FA Cup's left you a little bit.
It has, yeah, it has a little bit, and it shouldn't have done because it is a fantastic tournament. But it's just become, it's had the glove taken off it a little bit for me, just because it's so commercialized now, and it's even on TV, you used to get the ridiculous, sort of giant killers, if you like, would always be picked. So anybody that was really low down the pyramid and still in would almost always be guaranteed a television slot, and that's just not the case anymore. So that's part of it. But from a Rotherham United point of view, it just gives us an opportunity to experiment, as you've said. Certainly in this game, whether or not they're going to be willing to do that is another matter entirely. Play away a bit of width, perhaps. Let's just see how it works out. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it has lost a little bit of it. It has. We know the reality of it is you're never going to get anywhere realistically, or it's highly, highly unlikely that you're going to progress in the competition. And to be fair to us, certainly for the last I don't know how many seasons, we've not really wanted a cup run because we've always been concentrating on what's important, and that's either been promotion or relegation. We've not been a mid-table team where we could really sort of get some excitement out of it. And again, we're not in that position at the moment. I suppose we're fighting relegation. We're closer to that than we are promotion at the moment, the league table says. So maybe this year's the time. Maybe this year's the time to see if we can get a bit of a cup run going and stick to mid-table, because I think that's probably where we're going to end up. So, we're not. Maybe we won't have a lot to play for come January, February time. Who knows?
Yes, maybe. Martin Holland says, "Anyone remember Maidenhead and Torrential Rain?" Yes, that was a horrific day. And the worst thing about Maidenhead was they had this tiny little stand out of the roof, which got packed out immediately. and then the rest of it was completely uncovered. So if you didn't have a brolly, which I didn't have a brolly, absolutely drenched, which was a great laugh. Mike Miller says, "Yeah, Trevor Berry scoring from almost an impossible angle wide on the left, an incredible goal. Incredible goal from again one of my favourite players growing up as well.
Yeah, we love Trevor Berry.
I've been on the podcast. One of our favourite guests we've had. We're on twice, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
it was great.
We have to get one again.
Yeah, John Morell set himself up for a cup upset. Says he's excited for the first round of the FA Cup as he is for the Ford Motor Stupid Cup games. I'm pretty sure Leeds United said that, and then they went on to lose away at Sutton United.
Yes,
who Birmingham have got on Sunday. So,
so watch out for that, John. Is it on telly?
It's 12:30 Sunday, so I assume so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's why I don't like it, John, because all these big clubs start stealing all thunder. But you just never know.
Exactly. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think one of the reasons we don't like the FA Cup, or maybe numb to it a little bit, I've just checked our record, and it's terrible. So to put it into context,
why did you need to check it?
Well, I want to compare because Steve Evans' record in the FA Cup is very, very, very good. Steve Evans has been to the 5th round in his managerial career more times than we've been in our entire history.
That's fair enough.
Steve Evans has been to the 5th round 3 times. We've only been twice. So this is a manager who should get us place. It took Stevenage there. I'm not sure got to the then get to 5th, but the Aston Villa. Stevenage beat Aston Villa at Aston Villa 3 years ago, 4 years, whatever it was. That's a great moment in the FA Cup for Steve Evans. Taking Crawley to the 5th round twice. Again, that's incredible. But he just wasn't able to. Again, going back to FA Cup memories, Mick. During that Aldershot game in the 3rd round, back in his first time, we beat Notts County, who were a league above us. I think we beat Stevenage, who were a league above us, and then we went to Aldershot, who ended up getting relegated that year and lost 3-1 really, really badly. That was the year for me. That was the year we think, oh my God, we can get to 4th round and do something special, and then we lose to a really rubbish team. That's the Rotherham curse. Northampton as well, if you remember, going back all them years.
Yeah. When we got Man U in following round, and we went to Northampton for replay and lost. Yeah. They came to us, didn't they? We lost at home.
We were in the 1st division. They were in the 3rd tier, so in the 4th tier, so 3rd division. Yeah. Winner takes Man U. We go 1-0 up as well. And then lose to Derek Asamoah or whatever, something like that. It was some
And the Aldershot game was awful. It was so bad. But I guess looking back at it, with some of the performances we've seen this season, you shouldn't really be surprised because it was a very similar performance to what we've seen this season. The away end at Aldershot is something special. I don't know if anybody's been. It is awesome. It is awesome getting to it because it's like you have to walk through about, I don't know, half a mile of forest essentially, and then all of a sudden there's a football ground in the middle of it. It's bizarre, really bizarre. But
we asked this guy, we could seat ground at the home end, so we get this out. Well, how do you get into away end? I said, you go up this road and come back down here and go back through it. And we got halfway up. It just took Mickey out of him, because you just went through tennis courts and like a leisure centre, and then you get through and some turnstiles appear out of absolutely nowhere. But
that would be a dreadful game, awful game.
Yeah, terrible, really, really terrible. I don't know. We'll maybe talk about something else positive in a minute.
No, it's not doing that.
No, let's go point actually. So let's not go too positive. John's with us from the Sunshine Coast in Australia. Good morning, John. Right, Tom. Let's think about present day. Like I said, you got Cheltenham Town coming on Saturday. They are below mid-table. They're around our place. I think they're 17th or something like that in League Two. They've not had a great start, but the FA Cup. They'll be looking at this as an opportunity. They got Michael Flynn as their manager, who had some really good cup runs with Newport. This is a banana skin, but how much importance are you putting on the actual result? Are you think we've got to kind of win this? Is it important or not bothered on the result where he's sitting?
I think in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty unimportant. But going into a game and thinking, well, it doesn't matter, is pretty a pretty lackluster way of looking at your situation. And I think any sort of momentum or any kind of uphill, momentum that we can get from winning, confidence that comes with it, fan morale, anything that comes with it, you take. So I'd see this as an opportunity to not even win, but win comfortably and win by a lot, hopefully, and get players' confidence up who's currently not up, and etc. etc. And if we've come off of a win against Stevenage, you don't really want that to diminish as well, because a loss wouldn't be the end of the world, wouldn't mean a lot, but it could be detrimental. Well, could be damaging to the players' confidence, and they don't need that after winning in the league. So, yeah, not a must-win by any case, and I don't think many people would be upset if we lose but play well. But if it's a poor performance and it looks like it's just another case of what is this garbage again, then you might have some fans complaining. But all in all, it's not a result that matters as much as one might think. So yeah, I'm relatively content with whatever happens, as long as it's a good performance and some players get confidence up and players play that haven't played for the past couple of weeks. Go for it.
Yeah, I get a feeling it's one of those that, and you often get this when you're the higher placed team, that if we win 1 or 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, people will go, yeah, well, you should have won that game. And if you lose, people are going, well, you're doing lose to Cheltenham in the FA Cup. You should be beating these teams, and you've missed out on a cup run and all this other thing, and the confidence that goes with that as well. So it's we're around the negativity that's been around the place anyway. I think a loss is dangerous in terms of the morale that's been built up over that Stevenage win and bringing back that negativity after that victory potentially.
Look, for me, it's an important game from the club's point of view. From the manager's point of view, I think it's a really important game, and for his status, because if we turn out on Saturday and snatch a 1-0 win with a dirty performance like we put in against Stevenage, then he's got the result, but the performance hasn't improved. If we perform the same as we did against Stevenage for the full 90 minutes, there's a strong likelihood of us losing the game. A game that we absolutely should win. There's no question about that. That just taking the league positions, as a guide. So I think if a defeat, a poor performance in a defeat, heaps more pressure on the manager, and so it should. The performance levels have to improve. They have to improve. For me, we got that win. Let's build on it. We got that win, and we played really, really well for the 20 minutes from scoring onwards. Let's take that momentum from that part of the game into this one, and see if we can put 90 minutes of a performance in rather than just 10 here and there, and then the rest of it being just so awful to watch. But if we get that for the full 90 on Saturday, it puts more pressure on the manager. It has to, because the bottom line with it is it has to improve. There is no question about that, and even Evans will agree. I would think. Certainly privately. I mean, obviously publicly, he'll tell us how we've dominated games as he continues to do. But privately, he will know that the performance levels aren't up to scratch. So, if we turn in another one against the League Two side on Saturday, even if we do scrape a win out of it, if the performance is not up there, if it's not a dominant performance, then it really has going to pile some more pressure on him, for me anyway, in my view.
Yeah, I agree. Chris says it matters to those who pay to watch.
Well, exactly that as well.
Yeah. I don't know how many we've seen sold so far. I can't imagine it's very many, to be honest with you. With pricing being £14 for adults. They could have done better with that, to be fair. Do we want to complain about the midweek pricing for the youth team at midweek? I've seen a lot of people get upset about that. They charge for the bottom game £8 for adults, which is what it is, Tom. It's one of those things that the club could have done something by making it really, really cheap, and you'd have got lots of people in. But does it matter enough for me to get bothered about? Probably not.
I mean, they lost 6-2, so
something like that, 5-2, 6-2, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, look, I mean, the result doesn't matter. That was just a joke. But how many people would have gone if it was free? Like maybe 1,000 more. Maybe I don't know the actual attendance. But it's awkward times. If you don't live near to the stadium, it's tough to get there. Why would you, unless you had reason to go or you were bored or anything? I don't really see any real motivation to go. But having said that, I mean, having to pay like £1 doesn't do anyone any harm. I guess the only thing is that you're going to want to try and get as many people there as possible to try and support them, because the whole reason behind that push to get supporters there was to support the youth team. And if you're going to price out a lot of people who probably wouldn't already go, it just makes their decision for them. And it's not what good, I want to say marketing, but it's not quite the right thing. It's not what good, relations with fans is all about. If you truly wanted if you truly wanted to gain a connection between fans and the youth team set up, etc., you would establish that first before making people pay over the odds. And look, it wasn't like I can't remember how much it was, like £8, £8
it was, yeah.
So it's like it's not over. It's not it's not what you'd pay on a match day for the senior squad. So it's not ludicrous, but it's also a lot more expensive than you'd be willing to pay if you could just go down and watch them. I don't know where they play usually. Probably training pitches. Is it Hallam or something?
Sheffield Hallam, yeah, that was it. Yeah,
it's probably free to watch through the grids anyway. So really, this was for them to play in front of a crowd, and the fact that they couldn't because certain fans felt priced out and blindsided by it is a shame. And you want to keep good PR and good relations. So as soon as that news came out, a drop in the price, I mean, maybe they physically couldn't. Maybe it was because the facilities that they were offering, they needed to have that much on the ticket to break even. But if you want to maintain good PR, then you sometimes have to make that sacrifice. That's not our decision to make. That's the club's decision to make. And I presume that the reason the tickets were that much was because it was trying to break even. So it's a shame. It happens. It happens. It's a business at the end of the day, and you don't want to lose money as much.
No, exactly. 330 was the exact attendance, as Harry and Shell's done. 330 was the exact attendance. It's difficult because I did think about going, and it wasn't the £8 that put me off, to be honest with you. Having said that, I think the club could have done something, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter because most people that complain about it probably wouldn't have gone anyway, even if it was £3 or free. And like Tom says, it's probably a very minor financial aspect to it, but there is a financial aspect to it for the club where there is a cost to putting games on, whether it's stewarding, paying staff to serve you drinks or whatever the case may be. But the club could have won a PR battle here by taking a minor hit. But at the same time, why should they?
Yeah, why should
do you care?
Yeah, why should they take a hit? 330 people at £8 a ticket is £2,640. It will have cost more to open the stadium than £2,640. So the club will already have taken a loss at that. We can't say on one hand the club are not spending enough money, we're not making enough money available for players, and then say we should be letting everybody in for free. You've got to. you've got to be realistic here. It's going to cost them more than that to open the stadium, employ the staff to do whatever, albeit they're not going to be many. You've got the floodlights on and everything else. It's going to cost them more than $2,500, I would have thought, to have that open for the night. All the safety stuff and etc., etc., etc. So they're already taking a loss. So I don't know. At the end of the day, it is a youth match, and probably the bulk of people who go to see the youth team are parents and families. It's unlikely, it's going to be their absolute diehards supporters that actually watch the youth team and the reserve teams and everything else. It's not going to be a huge number. So I don't have a problem with it. If they're going to charge, they're going to charge. I don't have an issue with the pricing at all. They've got to at least cover some of it. So that's my view, anyway.
Yeah, I just thought it was worth asking because it was quite a hot topic for a day or two on Twitter, wasn't it? So,
well, yeah, I think if you view it from a fan point of view and you view it from a business point of view, you're going to get two very different answers. Clearly, they viewed it as a business, and you can't say that's bad, but you also really can't say it's good because of, what's the saying? All PR is good PR or something. I don't know. So, in that case, fine. But I mean, look, you can absolutely make a case that they should have dropped the price even a little bit and make 20% loss or whatever, so just to make sure that the PR is happy, youth team feels included. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very, very difficult decision to weigh up.
Just because somebody don't like it, don't make it bad PR, does it?
Yeah, of course.
True.
Otherwise, then because we don't like Steve Evans, it's bad PR. It's PR, like you said. Absolutely gets it in news, doesn't it? Well, some of us don't. I didn't say I didn't. Just us as a podcast. I just started speaking for us all, but not. That slipped.
John here. All PR is good. All good PR is good PR till Steve Evans opens his gob. I have more of an issue with the FA Cup being 14 quid, to be honest with you. That's more of an issue to me.
Yeah.
That could be dropped to 8 quid. If you drop that to 8 quid, you're gonna not double maybe, but you're gonna get more people interested in going to the game. That's the thing people should be upset about, but they don't seem to be. Whatever. On similar theme, but not we can't blame the club for this one, I don't think. Chris Page says, what will have the parking space around New York Stadium? Many places gone. It says the old Tiffany's, old Tesco's. Back of the Cutlers is a nightmare to find a place to park. Yeah, they keep reducing the size of the Cutlers car park.
Yeah.
Really helpful.
This is like an admin episode.
It is a bit of an admin episode. So that is
like in a TV series, you've got like one episode that's just a bottle episode. Just plug it in there. Keep it moving.
Well, feel sorry for travelling Brian. Brian says new subscriber lurking list in the background. I promise you, it's not always like this, Brian. We're not always talking about car parks and prices.
Yeah.
It's not. But Chris is right. The parking spaces are narrow now. If you don't get there early to Cutlers, you don't get in the spot. We have to park at the multi-story car park, which is what it is. There's always space, isn't there?
Yeah.
Other than when Watford came last year, there were a massive queue to pay. But yeah.
Is Millmoor still a car park? I've not been in years.
Sometimes it's open,
it's
sometimes it's not. Yeah. See, I think we were open when Wrexham came, I think. Actually, bigger club, but.
Whoa. Careful.
Yeah. Forge Island's now a big thing, and big things you don't think you can park there like you used to be able to as well.
To be fair, I think when you go to other grounds, parking at New York Stadium and in and around New York Stadium is a hell of a lot better than a lot of places. As you'll probably find for you, we talked about this before we came on air about going to Barnsley next week. Good luck with that. So it's councils don't want cars in the town centres anymore, do they?
No.
They're doing everything they possibly can to get people out of the cars, including putting bus fares up. So,
here we got this. What we're here for. Neil Liversidge Park's in the got space in the Millers. car park. Martin Mills says Clifton Park's empty for if you fancy walk down. Paul Rose says £2 at Bluebell Wood at the station at the wrap.
Yes, this is a
public service episode. This one.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I don't think parking on Saturday will be an issue against Cheltenham. To be honest with you,
no, you'll be fine Saturday.
You'll be fine Saturday.
But when we get some of these bigger clubs coming down, we ain't going it.
The only thing that's left, there's 2 clubs left. I think they'll bring a lot. It'll be Stockport and Barnsley. I don't think there's many left who'll bring many fans.
Well, I mean, Bolton will as well, because obviously don't forget their best team in this division. So,
that's true, actually.
Chris, Brian, if you are still listening in background, sorry about this, but Chris has got it right as well. Park and ride at Meadowhall and catch tram.
You can. I can park and ride on a Saturday afternoon.
Well, yeah, nobody parks and rides, does it? There's nobody working Saturday afternoon, is there?
Thrilling conversation, boys.
Right, let's move back to football. Cheltenham Town, as we mentioned, Saturday afternoon, Tom. How big a changes, not do you want to see, how big a change do you think Evans will make? Do you think he'll go big changes and Jack Holmes, Duncan, etc., or do you think he's gonna go for it basically?
See, this is the thing. This is why I hate doing predictions, because you never know what Evans is going to pull out of where it is behind. I mean, we personally, I'd go a completely different team, and within reason, because I don't think that we have enough players to go completely, completely new. But I change keeper. I think give Phillips a go. Why not? I give Holmes a go for sure. There's a couple other players in there. Kelly needs minutes. I'd give him some time. I wouldn't play Rafferty, but then you leave yourself really wide open because we've got no right backs at the club.
Hacks. What's up with Hacks?
Oh yeah, natural born right back. Yeah.
We bought him as a right back, didn't we?
Quite a bit. Yeah, we did buy him as a right back. You are right. I apologise for my unprofessional opinion. But yeah, I mean, call me controversial, but last time I saw McWilliams play, I thought he played all right against.
I think he deserves another chance to be fair. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Hungbo can really get stuck in this sort of game. A song as well. Steve's just said, say it. Then sparked it. But I think it's just about getting minutes in those that haven't got him. The McDonald, I play Jules in all honesty. I think we have to really.
Unless Rabbit's fit.
Yeah. Willie though. But I think I'd honestly start Douglas, because what have you got to lose if you do? The young centre half. I'd start Hatton as well if he's fit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really evident in the Newcastle game when I watched it, but it's the first time in a couple of years where we've got our players who are quite young and actually look really promising. The likes of, I mean, I don't know if he can play, but Ayres, I'd get involved.
He's on loan though, isn't he?
Yeah, but I don't know but because it's a 1 month loan, can't they play? And there was some weird thing because Jake Cole did it, didn't they?
Yeah.
And he played in the cup, but he was on loan somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, I think I'd give him a go in the squad. I'd give Hatton a start, Holmes a start, Douglas a start. I'd give the Song a start. I know he's not our player, but I think all of those, it's really promising because I thought they all really work well together. They all are confident, aggressive, really good technically, which surprises me. But the more the merrier. There's a lot to get excited about in this team, and they don't always show it. And I hope this is a chance. Look, let's not discredit. I know that they're League Two, but they might be better than the standings suggest. I think they've won their last 2 away games, so I mean they could be red hot form compared to us. So I'm not underestimating them in the slightest, but this is the sort of game where I'd like to see that happen. Will it happen though? Probably not, and that's that's where the Evans effect comes in. Is that I think he'll want to keep it almost, if not exactly the same as Stevenage, because you're on that bounce. And honestly, I wouldn't blame him if he did, because it's that we've not got a game till next Saturday, I want to say. So there's a full week recovery. Friday, yeah, sorry. So there's another full week of recovery. There's no need to rest players. There's no need for this, that, and the other. The only player I can really see playing is Kelly, because he needs minutes. Yeah. Other than that, I can really see Evans playing the exact same team, maybe with a few inclusions on the bench that possibly wouldn't be there in the league, like Hatton, Douglas, etc. It is Douglas, isn't it? And it's not Hamish.
No, Duncan. Harrison. There is a Hamish Douglas.
Who am I on? I'm on about.
You're saying Harrison Duncan.
Is he Duncan? What was I calling him? Douglas.
Douglas.
Yeah, I meant Duncan the entire time. I knew that would happen. Though. He's got 2 first names. Anyway, John Stones. I'll call him John Stones from now on.
John Stones is easier.
I put Stones on the bench, and Hatton on the bench. You know, that sort of thing, and possibly start Holmes, tweak it a little bit. I think is what he'll probably do. But I'd like to see him almost change it up quite a bit. But again, there's no necessary need for him to keep him sharp, keep him as fit as possible, and just pray for no injuries, really. Yeah, I mean, get Douglas involved as well for the sake of it. Yeah, exactly. So it leaves me without a rut.
Absolutely. Just a few comments saying, John Mel said we're going to launch a new New York talk travel show. We could do that. Harry's subscribing with all this travel talk. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Harry's saying who will go full strength international break coming up. That's when you get a rest in there as well. Harry's asking about the substitutions. Yes, since 2020, you can have 9 substitutions on the bench. So we can have there's 2 extra spaces for substitutes than they usually are for league games. Assuming that rule's still in place, let's just have a quick glance. So that's from the FA website in 2020. So it looks like there will be extra room. So we're going to see a couple more extra than we're anticipating. Jack Holmes, Mick, is for me the one that I would be saying, right, you've got to start this game really, because this is another step up. The Cheltenham are going to be better than Newcastle under 21s. And he's shown the last 2 or 3 games when he's come on, and he's getting more and more minutes, and he's getting better and better. Yeah. This is the kind of game, right, Jack Holmes, this is your game to kind of shine. Rest Wilkes if you want, or take Wilkes out of it if you want. He can come on with half an hour left if we need him. But this is the one for Holmes to play in and hopefully show us what he's really, really got to start the game from.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think you've probably hit the nail on the head with Malik Wilkes there, because we know with Wilkes he can drift in and out of games, or in and out of chunks of games. You know, 2 or 3 games he disappears, and then the next one he comes back and scores a couple of worldies. So we're better saving him for the league games realistically. And Jack Holmes he definitely needs some more time. You're absolutely right. He looks a really, really promising player. And I think will prove to be quite pivotal in this season. I think if he gets a run in the team, he'll be very, very dangerous and cause a lot of problems. You know, whatever league you're in, defenders do not like players with pace that run at them, and he will do that. And every time he's come on as a substitute, he's made an impact on the game one way or another. Obviously, you could he got a quarter of an assist for the Malik Wilkes goal last week. So, you know, he kind of put it in for Nombe to hit the crossbar, and off it went to Wilkes. So, I think you're right, but I think Evans will go probably reasonably strong. I think he will. I don't think there've been mass changes, certainly not in the starting lineup anyway, because he's going to want to win the game. He's going to want to build on that Stevenage result with another result, whether him and Rayner are willing to actually do anything about the performances. Like I said before, you know, and that's an entirely different matter altogether. I suspect not. I suspect we are going to have a season of those kind of performances. I genuinely don't see that changing. So yeah, it's going to be a couple that get a run out, I think. probably. You watch, should be a full different 11 now. How we said that.
Yeah. I think, again, going back, but I seem to remember from his first spell, he went pretty strong. I don't think there was much change, which worked in the first season, get to third round, second season we didn't, but it's varying degrees of success, as has been the case. You mentioned Dylan Phillips, Tom, and this is kind of the other big question for me. I think everything else don't pick itself, but I think either way it makes sense when it makes big changes. But Dylan Phillips coming in, that's a question mark, because if Steve Evans is taking the FA Cup really seriously, then you don't make that change. We've got Bradford coming up in 2 weeks' time, whatever it is, in the Bristol Street Motor, so he's going to get another few minutes then. Or do you say it's a cup competition, so it's only fair that Phillips gets some minutes?
Well, yeah. Fair? I don't know if I'd say fair, but I'd say I don't think Phillips is a bad keeper for all intensive purposes. I think he's a good number 2, but the start of the season that we had compared to, and look, it's not all his fault, I know, but since Dawson came in, we've looked a lot more stable. We just look a lot. I don't know. Some of the saves that Dawson makes, I don't think Phillips makes, and I think he's comfortably secured his place as a number 1. So I think no matter what happens in any game you play Phillips, I don't think he's getting that number 1 shirt back. So I play him in as many games in the cup as you can, just to keep him ticking over, keep him happy. You know, you don't want to see him on the bench upset and blah blah blah. It's just about keeping morale, and that's what's good about having two decent keepers as well. It just means that there'll be a lot more case for competition when he does play, and that might entice Dawson to play better, etc., etc. But yeah, I'm more than happy with him playing both cup games rather than not playing FA Cup but playing Bristol Street. But then, like I said before, and like Mick echoed, I mean, with Evans, you never know. He might play a full strength squad, and again, I wouldn't be upset if he does. So it's just a matter of what I personally want to see and what Evans does are two very different ends of the spectrum, and I think we've established that in the last couple of months. So yeah, I think he'll play Phillips, but and I think that'll probably be the right decision. But if he doesn't, I don't think it's the end of the world either. You just don't. You never like to see players unhappy, because that can affect the morale of the dressing room, not just themselves. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, he doesn't curse off any Rotherham United fans, supposedly, or whatever happened in that event.
Paul Rose, I hope I've not paid attention to see Phillips lying on his back when he lets a soft goal in.
That made me laugh a lot, that comment. Yeah. I don't know why. It just made me laugh a lot. It reads better than it sounds. It just reads.
I'm trying to find out if there's extra time on this week, but I can't find anything at the moment.
Well, they can't be having extra time. There's some of these Premier League clubs have only got 57 players in the squad. You know, they can't be expected to play an extra 10 minutes or 30 minutes in extra time, can they? Absolutely outrageous. We need to stop it now. Cut it off now.
Okay.
Is that all right? I've sorted
it. You can do that.
Job's done.
Sorted it.
Straight to penalties. No messing about. Certainly not replays. Obviously, we've got that out of the way. Get rid of extra time as well. Some of these lads are tired, aren't they? They'll have played 12, 13 games a season.
To be fair, in the League Cup, I do prefer it going straight to penalties. I don't think there's need for extra time, particularly. Yeah. Unless it's in a replay, but obviously, like we mentioned, there is no replays anymore because these, like Mick says, these players are tired. Bless them.
Yeah, I can't honestly. Just don't know how they cope.
John thinks there is extra time. I'll see if I can't do the show, and then I'll find out. Harry says golden goal. Let's bring the golden goal back. I agree. Golden goal. Quality.
That'd be so
Nobody
good.
ever scored a golden goal in the history of it, but let's do it anyway because it was a fun idea.
Next goal winner. I mean, we've all played next goal winner, haven't we? And I'm a fan of it.
Yeah.
Well, I would have been. No, I'm going to say I would have been a fan of up to this season, but no, up until 2 or 3 seasons ago, I might have been a fan of it. We'd have lost every game otherwise. It lasts 2 years.
Yeah. So let's just briefly touch on the replay thing because I am agreeing with Brian that says potentially there should be replays. I am, mate. But if there were replays, we'd be sitting here right now and saying anything but draw. Because you don't want to replay away at Cheltenham. So we never have, will we?
But the key to this is, you draw Man U in 3rd round at FA Cup and you draw at home, there should be a replay.
Yeah, I agree.
There should be replays. Because it's all right, these big clubs doing what they do, we're all really, really tired, But these replays with a lifeline, an absolute lifeline for many, many football clubs, and that just stinks. It just absolutely stinks. And again, that's another reason why the gloss has gone off this competition, because of all. Not only do they make all the money anyway, these Premier League clubs, they then whine when they're going to play an extra game. It's outrageous. So there is no way, in my view, that replays should have gone. It's absolutely wrong. But what does it matter what any of us football fans think? Because it's not about us. So,
correct.
Yeah. And John's got it right there. Absolutely bang on. The football replays. It is the romance of the cup. The FA Cup. All these great games down the years. A lot of them in replays.
Mm.
But we can't do that. We can't do that because somebody on 200 grand a week's feeling his calf a little bit. I'm sorry. It's just pathetic. It is. But what do you expect from the FA? Whoever's going to grease their palm is going to get what they want.
Yeah. Then dwell on that, Tom.
No, because I agree. I think replays will never happen again. I mean, who was it? It was Rodri that said it, wasn't he? And then he tore his ACL the match after, and then won the Ballon d'Or. And then, so clearly it doesn't affect their footballing ability that much. It just affects their. It's a tough one because I mean, there is no denying that now, like Premier League and equivalent footballers do play a lot of minutes, which isn't their fault. It's money grabbing organizations who need to keep money flux by playing them against each other every other day and ruining the joy and the fun that was, involved in City and Real Madrid playing every 3 years, and now it's every other 6. And now it's every 6 months. So it's just, it's not gonna reverse itself. So we've just got to make peace with the fact that that's the reality now. But I mean, look, if you get drawn against Man United at home and you see out a 0-0 or 1-1, that's such a good feeling for a non-league or a League Two side, etc. That would be better than not necessarily better than a win, but you get to play at Old Trafford, you get to play, blah blah blah. You get the whole sensation of playing in a stadium that you just thought as a kid growing up, I probably will never be able to do that, etc., etc. So, it's just a case of that. There's just too much business in football now, and we said it before with the prices of the youth team. I mean, it's so tough to distinguish the line between business and pleasure when it comes to football. A lot of it is getting a lot more smudged, and the pleasure side of football is drastically decreasing. I mean, last night, I think on Sky Sports Plus, I had a flick through, and all of them were Premier League games I could have seen on a Saturday. And it was like I think I watched City v Tottenham for about 20 minutes, turned it off, and then turned it back on when I realised City were losing. So, and that was only because City were losing. Other than that, I was really not bothered to watch any of those games because they don't care about playing it. I don't know if anyone did watch the game, but in the last 30 seconds, pans to Haaland on the bench laughing, pans to Pep laughing, and pans to another, I think it was a Kanji or someone laughing. They don't care. Why should we care? Because they know that they play each other all the time. They know that they have about 7 trophies they could win. So what's the harm in losing one? Whereas, I'm too young to have experienced very little television channels. But I mean, the joy of the FA Cup was the whole run up to it, right? The whole day was dedicated to the FA Cup final. There's 3 channels, so you kind of had to watch it, even if you didn't want to. You had to sit there for the whole day, listening to players, fans, managers, etc., etc. And that's just a ramble on how it's changed throughout the years and commercialized. And with Wrexham and Birmingham coming in now, it's Americanized as well, and that's just the way it's going. And it's the way it's going to keep going. So we're just going to have to deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, until they all bugger off at Super League, and then we maybe start getting forward a little bit.
What was it at the start of the season where Birmingham or Wrexham wanted to play each other in America? And it's how long until that actually does happen? 3 years, 4 years? Barcelona will want to do it because they need the money.
They're doing it.
Yeah, they'll want to do it now.
Barcelona and I can't remember, Seville possibly. Yeah, they're playing in Miami.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's the way that football goes. It's about money. It's not about people who actually want to watch football. And it's a shame. It's just a case of we're going to have to live with it and deal with it. But I mean, even this year, Sky Sports Plus, I mean, I think you can watch half of our games that we play this season just on Sky Sports Plus. You don't even need to, it's not even worth having a season ticket anymore. True, real, it still is. But if you're being a, cost benefit analysis, probably not even worth having a season ticket, based on monetary issues. That is, and it's a shame. It's a shame, but it's the way that it's going because Sky Sports Plus is only going to get, more. You're only going to be able to watch more games until eventually every single professional football game is going to be live streamed in some capacity, if not already.
Yeah. Yeah. I told you we're making an hour out of this, didn't I? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you rambled though. We did a PSA for about 20 minutes.
John saying he remembers a Birmingham FA Cup replay where they beat Newcastle away on his 5-1 on his birthday. Remember that? I remember we mentioned the Burnley one earlier. That was an FA Cup replay, first time live on Sky. The one against Notts County, when Steve Evans was here the first time around, we went and beat a really, really good Notts County team 3-0 in their own backyard or 3-1 in their own backyard was a brilliant night as well. We've not had any against big clubs, but the replay we've had have still actually been good replays, in my opinion. But what are you going to do? There's nothing, unless there's literally nothing we can do. So we just have to accept it and move on and complain every so often.
Oh, it's happening across sport, isn't it? You've got the England cricket team currently playing in Pakistan and the West Indies. We split the Test team and the one-day team, and that's a farce. Formula One has just become a circus, and that's down to money. It's the same whatever sport it is. So, as far as football is concerned, you're right. European Super League will be fantastic for everybody who supports an actual football club. Get rid of them, bin them off, and then the rest of us, we can go back to watching football the way it should be watched.
Yes. Right, but just to
about watching football live, because for me personally, I mean, I live in London. It's quite tough for me to go up and watch games. So Sky Sports Plus has actually been, I don't want to say great because it's not great, but it's been useful in aspects where I wouldn't have seen a game previously. So for me, I see so many downsides, but there is, some upsides, because say, for example, you're away, you can't make it, just whack it on for 90 minutes and then you're done. It's just, it does lose its, it's becoming more artificial. It's losing its originality. But for me personally, I'm not 100% against it, just because I can watch games now that I previously couldn't. But I'd like to know what you two think, because you can make majority of games.
I think the accessibility of football is amazing. I mean, when I first started watching football, if you didn't go to the game, you had to wait till Sunday morning to watch the goals. So the accessibility of football is fantastic and it is great. I just think it's probably going to step too far. You'll never find the right balance, because the right balance would be if you can't go to a game, then you should still be allowed to watch it. But then where do you draw the line? Do you draw it just people who live outside the town are able to watch it? Is it just kind of elderly people who physically can't go watch games? Is it just those guys who can watch it, or disabled people who physically can't go? Is it just those that should be able to watch it?
Yeah,
it's difficult as a cut-off, but if you give me a choice, you can either watch it live in the stadium or you can watch it at home. I'd always choose to watch it at the stadium, because there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Mick?
Right, it's interesting. I mean, we could go for hours. You could talk about hours as to how things are going to change. You know, the way football's consumed and where any sport's consumed over the last probably 30 years or so has changed so dramatically. And, you know, in the next 30 years, it's going to change even more dramatically. And by that time, you know, you'll have people in their 40s and 50s who've actually never been to a game. They've only ever seen them on television, you know, and so things will change massively. So who knows the way it's going to go. But ultimately, you know, standing out there or sitting out there or whatever it is on a cold Tuesday night in January when it's throwing it down with rain, some people don't want to do it. It's great. That's what football is like. Anyway, you can see your breath and smell Bovril. It's just, but that maybe but look at my age. You know, that's what I grew up with. The people who are growing up with football now are growing up with something entirely different. So, who knows? Philosophical debate for another day, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I never asked for, but I'm not saying no to. So it's, it's a moral dilemma as much as anything. But Power Maz just said give it to season ticket holders only. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
but then they'll just share it anyway. Because I had a season ticket and I couldn't, but I was still going. You give you Tom my login because you live in London, so just share it about anyway.
But
so
anyway.
Polo Roads with Polo Roads Bovril with a Kit Kat dunking it.
What on earth are you talking about, Paula? Wow, I've never heard that before.
No, that was a Google search that accidentally came into our chat.
Okay. Harry says, should they include cup games in the season ticket? 1,000,000% they should be included with the season ticket. Bristol Street Motors should be included. The first round of the League Cup should be included, and certainly the first round of the FA Cup should be included.
You can't. How can you do that? You share gate receipts on cup games.
Arsenal do it.
Well, that's Arsenal that charge £1,000 or however many thousands of quid for a season ticket. We don't.
I imagine it's quite easy to do because you attach a value to each game. So if you say, right, you've got season ticket, so season ticket holders technically play, I don't know, whatever it's £15 per game. The percentage of that game, if you got 5,000 season ticket holders, £15 per person is split in half and half goes to Cheltenham.
Yeah, but a club of our size, we're going on here and talking, so we got off at a rate tangent. But, you know, our club relies on those season tickets to get it through the season. You're having to ring fence however many £1,000 to give away to another club from your season tickets. I'm not a fan of that, I'll be honest.
Fair enough. You could just charge a £10 extra on season tickets or £15 extra on season tickets.
Yeah, but then the people would complain about that, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Anyway, we're not going on. People are going down
here. We end up down this dead end.
I don't know, but I've liked it. I've enjoyed it. I was genuinely worried thinking about this earlier. I don't know what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to get stuck and we're going to get 45 minutes out of this episode. And we're still going now. We could still go a bit longer. Right. So Bolton game's called off. Let's just tick that off. Bolton game next week. So would be 2 weeks on Saturday has been called off because Inevert's scared. Which is, I'll be honest, Bolton have picked up recently. So that's good news that it's delayed for a little bit. Hopefully they can drop off again. I think Bolton have picked up since he got a 6-game touchline ban, which is You know,
Who knew?
Who
Who
knew?
expected that to happen?
It's crazy.
Well, everybody apart from Ian Evatt, obviously.
Correct. I look forward to playing ball because I want to ask their fans. When we do a scout report, I'm interested to ask their fans' actual opinion on Ian Evatt. But we'll come on to that into us whenever it is. We haven't got a date for that yet. So
the Bolton podcast are probably having the same conversation, saying, "I'd be interested to speak to Rotherham podcast to find out what their opinion is on Steve Evans." I would imagine.
Probably.
Don't send me on.
No. I don't think you've noticed, but we hadn't sent you one on for a while now.
No, the last one I went on was with Gab, and I didn't exactly sing Mr. Evans' praises.
So this game is, we're going to get some predictions in a minute, but this does not going to count towards the prediction league. But we have an updated league. Mick, Tom, and Joy all picked up single
What the
points.
hell is this nonsense?
You all picked up.
Oh God.
You all went 2-1. Obviously, it was 2-0. So you all three. And Kev picked up a point because he goes 3-0. So Kev picked up a point as well. And then Joy, the only change in the table is Joy's moved up to third above Danny. Danny's not picked up a point in ages, so he's due some points. I can say again, there's not. We're going to go to picture, but nothing counts towards this from this weekend's game.
I'm so annoyed.
Don't be, mate. Don't be.
Yeah, decided to take it seriously, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
Right.
He knows he has.
Blind luck, mate. That's all it is. Just blind luck.
Go on then, Mick. What's this?
That I actually predicted a win against Stevenage. I can't believe that I did.
No, I can't either.
No, me either.
We need to change the rules because you can't all three of you go for the same score because then nobody's going to pick up any points and beat anybody, is there?
Well, this is why I keep going for mixed score because therefore I'm not going to drop off.
But you're already like 6 points behind, so you never.
I know, but what? Yeah, but you could pull further away. It's a tactics game more than anything. This isn't it?
Okay.
It's not even.
Well, let's see how it plays out. Let's see how it plays out. Mick, predict the game for Saturday afternoon. I know you're going because you're going to see Weller.
Yes.
What the Rotherham game? How's that going to go?
What am I predicting game or what Paul Weller's going to be like?
I mean, Sue Paul's going to be quite good and he's going to sing the songs that you know. That's pretty. That's in the bank, isn't it? Really.
I think so. Yeah. I don't care because I'm going to see Paul Weller. I don't know how I mentioned it for you. 3-1 Rotherham.
3-1 Rotherham, like it. Tom.
This doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter. 3-8.
I'm going with Kev 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah. Sound.
I will go 0-0 and we'll go to penalties. And we'll all be bored to tears and we'll all regret paying 14 quid. As is often the case when we have to pay for tickets outside of season tickets. Referee, somebody asked for this. Adam Herczeg, I think. Herczeg. Probably not how you say it, but that's the referee.
Yeah, you murdered that, didn't you?
Definitely. Yeah. He has never refereed us before. First time refereeing Rotherham United, as you often get with the FA Cup, to be fair. Paul Rhodes saying 2-0 to us or 2-0 to them if Phillips is in goal. Chris Taylor saying 3-1. Travelling Brian says 4-1 to us. John Morrell says 3-2 and Steve Evans to be sent off.
You see, John's just going for the obvious there, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Just going for the obvious. That I mean, he mentioned earlier about me being negative, and all he's doing is just, of course, he's going to get sent off.
Harry's saying 2-1 to us, and then he'll predict round 3 whilst we're at it. He goes 2-0 to the opposition in round 3. Thanks, Jules says 2-0 to the Millers. They're Weller to play Wildwood.
Obviously, yeah.
Fair. We need to work out, and this is again off topic, but if Steve Evans already had 1 game ban, do you know if he gets sent off or another accumulation of bookings? Well, do you think that'll be a 2-game ban like it is for players when they get 5 and 10?
I don't know.
You'd assume it would be, wouldn't you? If you're still here. Cheryl Stone says 4-0 down at half time and win 6-4. That's a shout out to Alfie, I think. We went 4-0 down, but yeah, Adam Lafondre with his 4 goals and a 6-4 win against Cheltenham at Don Valley Stadium. One of the few good days at Don Valley Stadium. That peak Adam Lafondre that day, just quality. A few people mentioned this tonight. Scott Kent saying Sam Clucas has gone to Oldham.
Yeah, why?
Didn't even know
why?
that.
Yeah,
why is he great?
That's cracking signing.
He was linked with Chesterfield, wasn't he?
Huh?
He was linked with Chesterfield in summer. I remember thinking, he's going to Chesterfield. That's a great signing in League Two for Chesterfield,
Yeah.
And now he's gone to National League.
Yeah, no, that's if he stays fit for. I mean, I just had a look. He played 32 times for us last season, which isn't that bad considering he was injured a lot. If they even keep him for half of them games, I mean, he was a good player in the Championship. So hopefully he's not lost any of it, and he's a good player again. But yeah, I was a little bit disappointed we didn't take a chance and re-sign him. So,
agree.
But I understand it with his medical injury history, so it makes sense. But yeah.
I mean, all we did was buy some players that hadn't got the same medical. Oh wait, no, we didn't, did we? I'd have had him back in a heartbeat. He's the type of player that you want on pitch, isn't he, Sam Clucas?
Yeah.
Slightly raged, proper quality.
Yeah,
can get injured a bit, but
no, but
when he's there, he is absolute quality. That lad.
Yeah, he's 100%.
Yeah.
And I can also give you some breaking news if you'd like some breaking news. It'll make you laugh. You want to laugh?
I want to see if I can laugh.
Sheffield Wednesday are under a transfer embargo for not paying HMRC or some HMRC related issues.
Oh, that's made my night. Just when you thought Tuna Man were getting it right, he's not been in news for a bit. Maybe there's been a bit of a problem with tuna harvest or whatever it is they do with fish, and he's
Tuna Man.
There we go. We are going to move Sunday's episode to Monday in the hope that we get through and we can talk about the second round draw kind of straight after it happens. If we lose, we'll still do it to Monday, just so it gives us a bit more time to think of something to talk about. But Monday evening will be the next. No Sunday episode for the first time in a while. But then it's into the Derby week, I suppose. Barnsley for next Friday, we'll get a scouting report done and think about maybe doing an instant reaction after the Barnsley game potentially. But we'll see. We'll see how things work with that one. Is there anything else we need to mention tonight? We've gone really long, to be fair, tonight. Is there anything else we need to mention?
No,
nothing
from me.
Good stuff. Thank you, everyone who's been with us tonight. Whether you've enjoyed talking about parking, FA Cup rules, Sheffield Wednesday getting the transfer embargo, whichever part you've enjoyed. Make sure you have subscribed on YouTube and give the video a thumbs up as well. If you are listening on iTunes or Spotify, again, make sure you have subscribed or followed us and give us a 5-star rating, where the case may be. We will try and do an instant reaction for Saturday. We may be a cameraman down to be able to do one, but we'll see what me and Ben are going together. So we'll see what we can do, if anything. If not, we'll see you on Monday evening for the review of the FA Cup first round. Hopefully win. Mick, thank you very much. I hope Paul Weller is wonderful for you.
He will be, no doubt whatsoever.
Thank you very much. And Tom, I hope you have a lovely weekend as well.
Yeah, thank you. I hope everyone in the comments and tuned in does as well. Yeah, because it's been a struggle this one.
Thank you all for being with us. I hope you had a happy Halloween, and we'll see you all next time. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
I think I always made the comment that once a Miller, always a Miller.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! Good heavens, he's done it again! Another promotion for the big man.
I've got 12 bottles of champagne in my office and we're going to drink them all night.
Do me a favor, drop me off